Welcome, everybody. Episode 50, Brad, of the latest. Hey, within like 52 weeks, I think we did it, right? So that's pretty impressive. We've both been healthy, and even if we were feeling not too well, we powered through it.
Yeah. I
'Cause,
think there was 1 week of travel and 1 week of COVID for somebody.
right, I had that. I was useless, but and then it's like you miss 1 week. There's too much to cover. So, and even us starting Friday today instead of yesterday, right? I mean, so the chat came out yesterday, the group chat, right? I think so.
There's so much that comes out, David. There's so much. It's sometimes it's a blessing to do the Friday show because things
Yeah,
show up on Thursday. A few times in the last year, David, things showed up like during the show. And immediately after the show, I was like, oh, I would have showed that. And by the time 7 days came around, there was like 10 new things.
totally. Well, huge week, right? So group chat on ChatGPT.
Yep.
Gemini 3 gets released.
Yep.
Was the group chat part of an upgrade to ChatGPT new number?
There's
Or
so
what?
much. There's so much. Grok got a bump.
Rock out above, right? Right.
Nano Banana got a bump.
Yes, Nano Banana. I saw that pop up.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. There's so much to show, and it's great. I think um, I made 1 or 2 looks at Nano Banana. We've made a group chat in ChatGPT. We took our WhatsApp group of 200 plus people. We put the chat out, the link out. So this has nothing to do with WhatsApp. It's just where we started, and that was the confusing part to some people. Is they thought it functioned with WhatsApp. WhatsApp
Right.
does have the at meta where you can at symbol and type in and you can ask Meta's language model within your chat. I've not done that much, but we're just saying that we were in a WhatsApp group with 200 people and we said, hey, let's try out this ChatGPT group chat. I think you can host up to 20 people. I think that's the number. You can host 20 people at once. Um, and we sort of said like, hey, who wants to try it? And what I noticed, David, is that you're in California, you could use it. I'm in Canada, I could use it, but some people in even in California, it said not available in your region. Like Alan in Arizona, um, Lisa in Minnesota, she got it, but other
Right.
people in like Kansas didn't. So I couldn't put it together.
And maybe they just randomly kind of put it out there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Sure, they have some type of method to the madness.
So I want to show this chat response on the major timeline of updates of Microsoft, because we're going to talk about what's changed in the last year from the software that we tend to use. I know there are some people that use different software or bigger enterprise software, but that's not really where we're at. We're talking about what the people who are watching this show are using. So we're going to look at the chat response of the major updates of Microsoft. I just want to show the contrast of the pace of software for people over, I'm going to say over 50, people 50 to 80 who are still using computers in a professional context. Um, they had a different pace of computer. And I think part of the pushback for people who are 45, 50 plus, part of their pushback, David, is the pace, because in their mind, this, right? This is the pace of computing. So this is a timeline of major Microsoft updates. And David, you can attest to this. In the 90s, pretty much everybody used Microsoft. There was no like meaningful alternative. Creatives might have used an Apple, but pretty much everybody had a Microsoft computer.
Yes. Well, I was at the Microsoft 3.0 release party in uh, Comdex, Atlanta,
Yeah.
where the lead singer of Chicago, or the guitar, yeah, I guess the lead guitar player of Chicago threw a pick into the audience. It hit my shirt and went right into my pocket. So that was just a memory from that.
That's really cool. I like the band Chicago.
And yeah, it was good. And then right, but that was just the formation, right? I've always been a Mac person since the 80s, but once Windows 3.0 came out, and then Microsoft Office right after that, just a lot of things started happening.
Yeah, right. So 1990, Windows 3 and Microsoft Office. So Microsoft Office is like Google Docs. It's the precursor to the document era, right? because plenty of people here did not use a computer. Plenty of people watching the show didn't use a computer in 1990. That's fair to say.
Right.
So what you notice, David, is that there's like one line per year, and some of these aren't even like the thing that people did. So like if you got Windows 3.0, you might not touch it for at least 2 years. And even then, when 3.1 came out and someone said, oh, the fonts are better and there's a little bit better multimedia, you might have went, I don't care. You might not have upgraded until Windows 95. So you might have had 5 years where your software didn't change, right? And then another 3 years until Windows 98. So that was where people were like, okay, we should be getting this. But some people didn't. Some people just said, well, we don't need it. Um, and then, in the 2000s, because I asked for the roadmap to 2020, right? It's like one or two or three entries per year. Just look at these black dots. It's 311, 32, 222, 122. There's like one or two things a year, ladies and gentlemen. There's three in some years, but there's like this guy becomes the CEO. They released Windows 2000 and Millennium Edition. But one is for business and one is for consumers. So really, that's one data point. It's just like the new CEO released one for business and one for consumers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like for the most part, you had like 3 or 4 or 5 years. You guys get the picture. I asked Manus. I asked all the LLMs actually. I went and looked at Claude, at Gemini, at Perplexity. I did more, but let's just look at these. So this is Manus. And then I said, give me this look, right? So from a year ago when we started, okay, you got sidebar updates. And then look at this. These are like day to day sometimes. Canvas mode, Gemini Flash, video and screen share, projects, new Grok models, structured outputs, product placement in HeyGen, scheduled tasks, import from chat into Canvas, personalized instruction. Like this goes on and on, David. This is like week by week, three things, two, like week after week after week. This is the pace of AI software. It is so foreign to people 50 plus. They cannot fathom a near daily change in their software. They said, I used to take 1,000 days to get used to something. And now you're telling me I've got like 10 days? Like this is immense. This is absolutely immense, even in the month of November, right? You can
Right.
interrupt on questions. You can change the personality. You can use files and API. You've got voice partnerships in 11 Labs. You've got instant thinking and thinking in ChatGPT. You've got deep research in Notebook. You've got group chats that piloted a few days ago in select countries and then now here. You've got structured outputs in beta. You've got Claude in Microsoft Foundry. Like I can't even say this, David, at the pace of information. Gemini 3 Pro rollout. ChatGPT 5.1 Pro released. The documentation platform for Claude. Grok 4.1 Fast. Instant checkout for Shopify. Gemini and Android. Like, wow. These are in the last 3 weeks, David, where people are planning turkey for Thanksgiving and getting plane tickets to see grandma. And they're like, oh, and by the way, I hope you had time for 21 hours of internet updates for anybody that uses software.
Well, right. And think, back then when you were going through the timeline, they had to mail you CDs or discs back then, right? And then all of a sudden the internet happened. You could upload things. Then Microsoft Office came out in the early 90s. So then it bunched a bunch of the applications together.
Yeah.
And I do think in 2026, which has kind of started to happen already, but we're gonna see many more mergers and acquisitions of a lot of these tech, and whether they get added just as a feature to ChatGPT or Grok or something, and then that puts some of these companies out of business, so they get gobbled up. It's really going to be interesting.
Yeah. So, David, when I see the AI bubble, I keep seeing competing stories with the AI bubble. And I think, gosh, it's hard to believe that a product with so many features and so many users, like the number of users of ChatGPT is like astronomical. Can you and I each field a guess while I look it up? Number of do we want daily users or monthly users for ChatGPT?
Um, I guess daily, maybe
You want to do
both.
daily?
Or yeah, or monthly. Either way, just how
Let's
many
do daily.
and
I-
registered accounts, right?
I'm gonna guess north of 300 million, which would be like everyone in America.
Yeah.
But globally. I'm going to guess north of 300 million. What do you guess?
I'll take uh I'll take 400 million.
Okay, so we're wrong, which is okay. Um, but it's 190 daily, but they boast over 800 million weekly. So that means that like some people use
Right.
it every other day.
Okay, I thought we were talking about total users. Okay, got it.
I said daily. Daily's close to 200 million.
But if you're using it, how are you not using it daily? Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
maybe
Right.
that's us in our bubble here, Brad.
I think so, because I think we definitely know the people inside this 190. Um, and I think the people watching the show are inside that 190. But the point is, like, when people say there's an AI bubble, I'm like, I think they're talking about different things. And the very uninformed news pushers, I'll call them news pushers, are pushing news that is not entirely accurate because it creates this panicky fear. And I'm like, I just don't believe that something that has 800 million users every week is going to pop, right? It might shift and change. They might change what they charge you for or what they give you for the same money. But I don't imagine that a business that has 800 million people going like, I want to use that thing, that they're just gonna be like, we screwed up, forget it. I don't believe it.
Right. No, it'll
So,
be yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I just think so much going on, right, with data centers and infrastructure, and we've just never seen anything like this. We've never been so prepared technology wise to be able to do, right? When you think about decentralized energy and all those platforms, just we're right at the beginning, even though it seems like we're way into it, you know?
oh yeah, this is we're not even 3 years into ChatGPT. It'll be in like 10 days or 9 days. Will be the third anniversary of this software. So let's look at ChatGPT and what is a group chat. So if you're in your ChatGPT, you've got your sidebar here, which you can close, right? In the top left corner, there's the little ChatGPT circle icon, and you can open your sidebar. You got chats, library, your GPTs, which are those like features you create, your projects, right? And then there's this new listing called group chats. So if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. We made one for our community, the Brain Juice community,
Yes.
right? This is not particularly private information, so it's all right to show. So in the top right-hand corner here, there's the people, right? And you can see there's me, there's you, David Leighton, there's some other people, right? I see you added Dimitri, very cool. Um, and then we're now having a group chat. So my texts appear without an icon because it knows it's me on the right-hand side. You joined first. Thank you very much. And then you get your initials as the logo, right? And then here's Lisa with a picture of hers, Mark Hewitt with his purple one, and on, right? So you're
Right.
distinguished just like in any other chat. And I've asked ChatGPT, um, I said, hey, chat, Brad here. Because my account originated this chat, does your response tend towards the settings of the user who asked the question or towards my account? Because that's a good question, right? I might have it set to ridiculous mode and I say, always give wrong answers, right? Because there are people. Have you ever seen this chart, David?
Mm-mm.
You ever seen this chart? There's 9 types of people.
Wow.
Right? Some people are always lawful and they want the good result. There's some people who are always lawful, but they're neutral. Unless you ask them to be lawful, they'll just do nothing. And there's some people who are lawful, but they intend on using the law evilly. There's some people who are neutral. They're not going to do much, but they want good. You can see there's some people that are chaotic, right? And there's not proportions. There's not 1/9 of everybody, but it's a way of seeing the world for what it is. There might be like 0.001% of these people, but there's plenty of people who are chaotic good, which means that they lightheartedly make things difficult, but it won't ever go bad for you, but they'll intentionally do things. So be mindful that if you're in a group chat, you might be reading their version of ChatGPT, which might have instructions to be silly, to be skeptical, to be far left, to be far right, to be very lenient with facts, to be very creative. So the user, the person who's typing the question, the answer that goes in your thread will be the answer will be about them.
Mm.
right? So we've got people in different groups that are from Europe. They might say, "Give me the Europe-centric view." We've got people in our group from Asia. They might say, "Give me the Asia-centric view." And we've got people from Canada, the United States, and more. You might get a nationalistic answer because you might tell ChatGPT, love Paraguay. Like, isn't Ken Sky from Paraguay? He lives in Canada, but he's from Paraguay. He might say, love Paraguay. Whenever possible, promote Paraguay. And they might be like, there's a company from Paraguay that does that. And I might go, oh, great, I'll click on them. And I might bump up Paraguay. Shout out to Ken Sky, right? It's just one of those people you like. And if he told you, oh, there's a company from Paraguay, I'd be like, oh, I'll check them out because I like Ken. Um, it's important to note that ChatGPT is giving you the person who asked the question in your thread's version of the answer. Right? So that's the actual response from chat. It says my response is always follow the context and settings of the person who's sending the message, not the group creator. Right? So if the chat comes from Mark, I respond according to Mark. If Lisa asks something, I respond based on Lisa's input. Right? And the group creator doesn't get any special weighting in how I respond. I just look at who's talking to me right now. So that's cool. I've really pushed that button, but that's really important that if you're in a group chat, the answers might change based on who asked the question and how their chat is set up. And then I said, so they don't benefit from my frameworks and settings. It says, right, their experience is independent. My settings apply to me. They don't get my settings. There's no shared personal configuration, but anything that I put in there, they can then have. So if I say, David, here's the 9 types of people, and we want people only that are lawful, neutral, lawful good, or neutral good, right? If I put that into the chat, everybody else in the chat could then use that and reference it and say, you're right. I don't want people that are truly neutral or chaotic. And if we see people like that, we'll say, hey, look, come on over to the good side. So we've had this chat. People are putting in documents, right? And chatting about it, asking about how that document can enhance my framework. So we're intentionally playing with it. It's pretty fun. And then check this out, right? So Alan joins, and then we realize we can put in emojis, and then check this one out. Jeff says he's really interested to see where this goes. And then ChatGPT liked the comment, David. I can't explain it.
Wow.
Chat liked it. How?
From somebody's account or just, oh, interesting.
No, like this is, so you're not seeing a screenshot here, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing a screenshot within the live platform, right? Like I could change this emoji right here if I wanted to fire or party or heart, right? I give it a star. That's what I like to give. Chat liked the comment. I did not ask it to, right? There was no referencing chat. Alan says hello. Jeff says really interested. Chat liked it. Super weird, right? And then what I learned is you can also summarize the discussion. Because Julie asked, she goes, Brad, can we summarize it? So I typed that in, summarize our discussion. And it did. It said here, we kicked off the group, we named it, we talked about more, and you could show more to go through what we did. Pretty darn cool. So for people who are like, big deal, there's a chat in ChatGPT, I'm like, actually, it is pretty cool. Because now I could have multiple accounts that I control, David, that all have very different features and details. It'd be like my own agentic system, and then just go in them and comment and interact. You could get board members in a group and say, what do we all think? People could put documents in, you could interact with it. You could say, here's our latest pitch deck. Like it's a very interactive way. And it's my understanding, David. I'll go back to screen share to show you this because I showed it in the WhatsApp group to the 200 plus people in our group. We'll share the window again. If I go to the settings, I think I get them here. No, maybe not. The top, ladies and gentlemen, we're new, so bear with us that this is a new thing. Wow, how do we do this? Here we
And I
go.
did like how somebody asked for the name, right? That was cool brainstorm, including chat.
Yeah, so in the top left corner where there's the name, right? You can see who's the people. You can manage the link. You can rename it, customize it, right? So when I click customize, um,
Oh, interesting.
there's custom instructions for the chat itself. And then here's this thing, respond automatically. Chat will respond to new messages automatically, right? If I turn it off, chat will only respond when someone mentions it. So you
Mm,
can have it so that it never interacts with you until you say, "Hey, ChatGPT, what's the capital of Italy?"
right. This is interesting when you look at what Louis Rosenberg's doing with unanimous AI and how when they have to think, I forgot the name of the product.
Swarm intelligence.
Right, swarm intelligence, but then they have the think scale. Wait, hold on, let me show. Here, I'll bring it up real quick because it's really interesting. Because what they do is they're having group discussions. They've trained this AI. Oh, Thinkscape. I knew I was going to say Thinkscape, right? So if you look at Thinkscape, and what it does is, and let's see if we can. Here, let's actually play a little of this, maybe.
Yeah, I've done a
Introducing
live demo. It's fascinating.
let's say you want to hold a
Right, and it's here. We can wait till it gets to the good stuff. Well, here, let's.
and perspectives and quickly reach some conclusions. Or maybe you want to run a focus group with 400 consumers at once, harnessing and amplifying.
Wait, we don't need to listen to all that, but I will explain it, right? If you see here the different AIs, it's kind of like, okay, if 90% of the groups have touched on a topic, what could be one?
Go in the chat, David, in the Zoom
AI,
chat. Click the link in the Zoom chat. This is the one you want.
AI growth. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. Right. Well, the swarm intelligence too, but just what the Thinkscape does, right? And I know when I've spoken to them, it's swarms of bees.
Yeah, if
That's
you scroll down, you'll see the software live.
okay, good. Um,
There you go. That's the one.
Excellent.
So this is the software I've tried where a group of people all have equal input via your mouse cursor, and no one person outvotes the other.
Right. But then with that Thinkscape thing, if 90% of the people have touched on a subject or topic over the overall subject and they haven't mentioned it in the 10%, it'll kind of plant a seed in that chat. Hey, what about this? To just make sure that everybody's kind of, you know, being part of right or thinking about all aspects of things. If it's by overwhelm, anyway, it's crazy what they've done. And we really have you spoken. We need to have Lewis. I told you he lives. I'm on the Central Coast, so he's right near me, which is there's no one up here. Me and Greg Holson. That's about it.
That's it, eh? You
And Wally.
and Wally.
Yeah. So check that out. Look for Lewis. We'll get him on something soon.
Yeah,
Right. Notebook LM, whether we talked about it last week or not. Deep research, right? So I started, my quantum group, which we had our monthly session yesterday. Now I can go right into deep research and I can say add sources. Wait. Okay, you can do web or drive. We'll do web. And if I want to, and then I'll just say discover sources. And then let's see what it comes back with. Maybe I have to type it in here. New quantum computing breakthroughs investments. Spell that correctly, even though it doesn't matter with AI, but I'm not going to let it dumb me down, Brad. They
yeah.
have that some new so anyway, that'll probably take a while to go through, but now I can continue just to update my progress of understanding what everybody around the world is doing with quantum computing. Because I think
And
it's
that-
just interesting now.
yeah, and that's a free software, just to remind people that are new to Notebook LM from Google. It's a free to use software.
Right. And there are some limitations for the free, and in each file you can do up to 50 folder or files. Right here I only have
Yeah.
like 15 or 20. You can go up to 300 with others.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's good. Have you played with Gemini 3 at all?
I have.
Well, here, I'll let you take that, but let me ask you a question real quick about the chats, because when I told you I was on the phone with Ron and
Oh, top right corner, person icon.
Wait, oh, top row. Oh, wow. Okay,
Start a
thank
group chat
you.
right there. Right, your dotted outline is the erasable chat or like the private
Okay.
private chat, and then the person icon. Start a group chat.
And you said 20, it caps at 20?
I think it caps at 20. You can try it. Like I think you can have quite a large number of group chats, but I think any one group chat caps at 20 people.
All right, I'm not starting all this now. But hey, that's great. Right. I
Yeah.
think excited for that tomorrow. I mean, to get it going tomorrow. We are having Dan Wilson speak tomorrow on agents and all sorts of stuff tomorrow. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the very, very brilliant Dan Wilson. When Dan Wilson shows up, everybody is excited because he brings some very deep knowledge. And he's very, very exceptional at his clarity of bringing you like the deep decades of coding coders view, but in very accessible analogies and metaphors and straight information. Dan's a really brilliant person. So you got to use animals, David. You got to use animals when it comes to these images so people have fun with it. Nano Banana Pro is the name of Google's new imaging software. So I said dog driving a race car. I wanted a golden retriever, but I just said golden, right? In a vintage Ferrari. And that was vague on purpose, very early days. And then I said wind goggles, scarf, tongue out, loving life. It's pretty good, right? But then I gave it a specific car and it nailed it, right? And then I put both together, dog driving the car plus that, and it gave it.
Yeah, wow.
So like you can start to play with very specific things like 1952 Ferrari 212, 225 Inter Barchetta, which if we look at it is like a very specific car here, meaning that the internet is not rife with these kinds of cars, you know. So I also did this. I just had pirate on a boat. When I do these demos or try out the software, I'm often very vague on purpose. Some people go, I want to put in a million details and break it. I'm like, God, go the other way. Just try like something really vague and see where it shows up, and then love it. Like that brings me back to like my chart here of like chaotic good. The chaotic good person puts in like 1,000 instances. It's chaos, but they're good natured about it. I always say, let's just look at it. Pirate on a boat, right? And because there's so much instance of Pirates of the Caribbean from Disney, it gives a very Pirates of the Caribbean look to it. What
Right.
I'll notice, David, and share with you is that the helm of the boat has the name, the sea serpent, right? It's spelled properly. Even if it intended to give it a name, it executed on it. The flag of the skull and swords here, it looks pretty good. The people look pretty clean, right? The boat looks like a real boat. I don't look at it and go, that's not a real boat. You'll notice he's got a bird with yellow, with green wings. He's got the tri-corner hat. He's got a tattered green outfit and like a leather bandolier, right? And some like maroony kind of pants. So I said, same pirate on a beach. And doesn't it give me yellow belly, green wing pirate, tri-corner parrot, tri-corner hat, tattered green? You'll notice that the bandolier is cut off exactly where the steering wheel had cut off the bandolier, right? But it's almost the same boat. Like I feel like it's a two-mast boat with rope ladders, and that's the two-mast. I guess that's a three-mast. Maybe where our perspective gives it to us. But like it looks like the same boat. It looks like the same pirate. It's pretty impressive. And I think what you're going to get, David, is a lot of image consistency. Mashable says, here's how Nano Banana changes Google Messages. So that's the same software, and this is from yesterday. It says the new Remix tool allows users to generate and edit images with AI directly within the Google Messages app. So for anybody using Google Messages, right, you can now, there's so many ads on this. Oh my gosh, right? Remix will allow Pixel owners to edit or remake any photo using Nano Banana from within Google Messages. It's going to roll out to all Pixel users. So you can go into Remix, right? You got the photo, believably, you took of your dog, right? And then it says describe the changes you want, like make a custom mini figure or make a photo that looks like instant film. So what they did was they made a custom mini figure of their dog in Remix, and then they sent it to someone. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
So all the users have to do is press the Remix button on any photo within Google Messages and then provide any prompt they want. They provide some suggestions. It basically turns Google Messages from a messaging app into a content creation tool. And here's another, it's cool, right? Here's another thing from Google, because I like Google. I'm in the Google ecosystem with the Pixel phone, the Pixel tablet. So you know how Apple people say, oh, it's great, I have AirDrop, and I can just AirDrop something from my phone. Well, Google has now figured out how to add a Pixel phone and send it to your Apple Mac. So if you have the Android phone, Pixel 10 is the one that's going to have this right now. You can send and receive files from Apple over AirDrop to your iPhone, to your iPad, or your Mac devices. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What else did I have here? I've got.
it
Look
feels
at this.
like Google's just been coming on strong because they want people to talk about it during Thanksgiving and Christmas or holidays, any type of holiday, right? Interesting.
Yeah. So this is from 3 hours ago because I did some news this morning. Google has to double its AI compute every 6 months to meet demand. The AI infrastructure boss tells employees. So the boss of AI infrastructure, Amin Vedat, let's be journalists and check that that's the person, right? So he comes up as a computer scientist. He's listed as the vice president and general manager of AI and infrastructure at Google on LinkedIn.
I think that guy was on 60 Minutes, I want to say.
Okay, all right. So he is telling people that every year it's got to double twice. They have to race to build out compute capacity in order to meet demand. So that means the next 1,000x in 4 to 5 years. The way that math scales, it's going to go like double and then 4x and then 8x and then 16x and then 32. Like this climbs fast when you're doubling because it's not 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It's like 32, 64, 120, 250, 500, 1,000. Like it goes fast. So 1,000 times the speed. It's hard to process, David, because we looked at that Windows comparison. For all of us that remember using Windows, you went like, wow, my mouse and my cursor move around this blue square, and there's like one thing I can look at. And they're like, actually, you could open two things at once. And our brain went, wow, I could open up two things at once. For anyone that doesn't remember, initial Windows did not let you open up two things at once. So if you played Minesweeper, it was the only thing that was available to your eyes or to your keyboard or your mouse cursor. And until you closed Minesweeper, nothing else was happening on that box, like zero other things. You couldn't also have another thing open. It had to load. You had to close it completely and open up another one.
Yeah.
So to think about where we're at now, David, and do 1,000x of the compute, I don't even know that I can picture what that means. Because 3 years ago, none of this existed. 3 years ago, there was no ChatGPT. 3 years ago, there was no just open up your phone and take a picture of your dog and click a button. And now there's a toy of them that you can send it to your friend. And they can remix into a Sora video and make a song out of it and then put it into a notebook file and then share it in the chat. Like none of that existed 3 years ago. I think the latest is the speed of how new things are.
Totally right. 9 days will be the third anniversary of ChatGPT being released, and it just seems like 10 years ago, right? Or how much have we gotten done in that time? At least 3 months.
Yeah, check this out. Did I get this right? Here we go. Okay. So this is from Ashutosh Shrivastava, right? His tag is AI for Success. He says it's official. Google DeepMind has launched Nano Banana Pro, right? Also known as Gemini 3 Pro image. So what we just looked at. And Ashutosh was one of the early testers. He thanks them. He says some major improvements. You can get 4K image generation, so that's the quality of pixels or like the fidelity of the image gets higher and doubles and quadruples. More accurate, legible text in multiple languages. Multiple languages, David, that's pretty cool. It's better consistency across concepts, characters, and styles. It has precise, localized editing for any part of the image. I haven't got to that yet of how to edit the exact square of the image.
Hmm.
Here's the thing, David. This feature of Gemini, this Banana Pro, it transfers just from like, let's make an image to an intelligent image. So when he says I asked it, he's saying I asked the chat that was both Gemini and Nano Banana Image Maker at the same time. So when you're chatting with Nano Banana, you're not just talking to the visual artists, you're talking to the intelligence engine and the visual artist at the same time. So it asked it to explain transformer architecture, right? And these are some prompts and image examples from his early testing. Let's go in here. Okay. This looks beyond my knowledge to say whether or not this is accurate, but I just want you to see the detail of this infographic that the cat sat on the mat, right, is a traditional testing sentence for language models because it rhymes and those words are easy to understand. The cat sat on the mat. And they're telling you that tokens go into each of those words in brackets and quotations, right? That the encoder stack will do these steps, right? It'll embed it, position it, encode it, add it, feed it, right? And it'll spread it out to this layer. It'll flow it out to this layer. Like this is a very detailed project. Someone might come in and say, Brad and David, this isn't completely accurate or this part's wrong. And that might be true. I'm not claiming I know that. But if you know what you're looking for, this looks like the kind of thing that you used to pay $10,000 and wait a month.
Wow.
Like it's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. And what it is it's both a boon and a caution. The boon is if you know what you're doing, you can crank this out and put it out there. The caution is if you don't know what you're doing and you just send out whatever the result is, I mean, buyer beware and reader beware. Beware that from today forward, any of those infographics you see and you go, oh, I just take this at face value. They must have spent $10,000 in a month. I'll say they might have spent 10 seconds and a click, and it
Right.
might not be accurate. And that's the big thing is many people in most of what we do, we know enough to get by on what it is. But, you know, like Sani would tell me, he's like, we're not AI experts. He's like, we're AI software users. So don't say you're an AI expert because if someone presented me with that transformer architecture, I would need a long time and a lot of Googling before I could just sort of like verify that someone else said it. But I wouldn't know it intuitively because that's not what I studied. So when I see those diagrams, I get impressed by them if enough people share it, but plenty of people are just hitting the share button.
It's easy to, yeah, exactly.
Right? Like people are just hitting the share button. Ladies and gentlemen, people are just hitting the share button. They are not checking if that's the truth. And this is worldwide. This is not a dig on any one individual. That's a worldwide phenomenon, myself included. I'm more cautious now with what I share, click, like, and promote because I'm like, I don't actually know that. And I should probably be more brazen, David, because I think you always hear people say that the people who share and like the most stuff, the stuff they share and like happens. So maybe I should share and like more things, but it's a strong caution that the reality line has been completely blurred with these Nano Banana Pro and in-app re-editions and remixes of your dog into an action figure and things like that. The line has been completely erased of what is visually real and not. Like completely erased.
Totally.
So I lean into it, David. If that's where we're at technologically, there's what did we see? 800 million people using this tool every week. You cannot hide from it. You should learn it, lean into it, figure out how to sniff out the good stuff, embrace the good parts, be neutral at best, but you should be positive and good, lawful and good, because it leads to good things. I don't know anybody who's on the chaotic side of life that routinely wins.
Right. And look, and set your goals for 2026.
Yeah.
What few tools are going to help you do that, get there smarter and faster? And then maybe look every month or two and then see if one of those tools, maybe something came out better, you want to update that. Let
Uh,
us go through the craziness of tracking every tool, right?
yeah. And then there's also Grok. Grok's 4.1 is in beta, 4.1 beta and thinking. So if you use Grok, look for 4.1. It's a bump. I know Claude had new details that they emailed me about. But there's been so much going on, David. Opus 4.1 deep brainstorming model. There's so much. Like for anybody that uses any of these tools, the latest is invest an hour in one of them and just sit with it for an hour. Go to YouTube if you like YouTube. Maybe you're watching us and you're like, that's what I'm watching you guys for. But what I'm here to tell you is there is so much to learn that I spend all week looking at these things. And even then I'm overwhelmed. And I'm just like, I'm at the point where you sort of have to pick one tool and be like, this is what I like.
Right.
You
And
know,
maybe that's an interesting new session where every month kind of look at what tools people are using and see where you want to maybe make an adjustment. If you do, right? You don't have to. It's okay to have the third best, whatever. If it works for you and you're comfortable with it, that's what matters. And you've
well, here,
tried everything else.
I'll share with you the list I asked these language models yesterday, right? So I said make a timeline for the last 52 weeks of the major updates of the major language models. I think these are the major tools people use. ChatGPT for sure, Claude for sure, Perplexity. People use this sort of like a living Wikipedia. Gemini, as we saw, Google is coming on strong. So ChatGPT is your utility tool. Claude is for like a highly intelligent response. Not that the other ones aren't. Perplexity is for like a Wikipedia fact-based response. Gemini, sometimes it's so good, I'm wondering how to give it exactly one lane to say what does Gemini excel at. Gemini keeps improving so much that it's almost like you should be maybe using Gemini first, maybe. Grok is great because you can use the vast amount of input from the X platform, which used to be Twitter. There's so much information of people's input that Grok pulls from. NotebookLM, as we've seen, David now has deep research. Manus, as you guys saw, did a great output of the timeline. It's really good at collecting information and synthesizing it very cleanly in ways the other ones didn't. Midjourney, we've been creating images with it, and it continues to impress with image and video. Canva, it's like your modern Photoshop. Gamma, you're a ambassador, you know, the presentations. I think people use Miro whiteboards. It's absolutely tremendous, and their AI software keeps going. HeyGen, I think people use for video creation. Copilot, if you're in Microsoft. Cursor, if you're develop. 11 Labs, if you're doing voice. I think 11 Labs is about the best. And now you can clone Michael Caine, Huberman, Huffington, right? For anybody using voice. And DeepSeek, some people like Variety. It's China-based, which some people use with caution. But David, that's my list, I think, more or less, of the big software.
Totally. And then there's Sora's missing, VO3's missing, Napkin.ai, which I think Gamma's, they got kind of featured out, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Right, but there's just so many different things. I just feel like we could go on and on, Brad.
Well, Sora and VO3, to be
Yeah, a
fair,
lot
they're part
part
of
of the
Chat
Google.
and
Yeah,
Gemini. But
totally.
you're good to point that out because I
Right,
now have the app on my phone for Sora. It's like a TikTok feed.
crazy.
I'm
Okay, great.
surprised, David, that TikTok hasn't made an AI lane that gets internally tagged as AI and then just taken one of these models. AI gave me a thumbs up for that. I'm surprised that TikTok specifically hasn't white labeled someone else's software, put it inside theirs, and then tagged it as AI content because the average user is just going to use the one that's easiest.
Right. Well, I thought ByteDance came out with something. Was that an image generator?
Yeah, I think they
That
did.
was something. Anyway,
But these companies are moving so fast. Like Microsoft used to move at the speed of like every 3 years. Now we saw these All these companies are changing, and it's a constant horse race of neck and neck. It's, well, Perplexity has the Comet browser. Oh, no, ChatGPT has the Atlas browser. You're like, oh, no, Gemini 3 knocks it out of the water. And you're like, oh, but Claude comes back in. It's a constant drama that the output change is so significant that you kind of have to keep jumping horses.
Crazy. I hear
You
you.
kind of do. Like when someone shows me a Midjourney image and it's not as good as Nano Banana Pro, I'm just like, why don't you just use Nano Banana Pro? What are you doing?
Right. Then sometimes they say, "What? What's that?"
I'll add this because this experience sparked a lot of these thoughts to do the recap of this year. Um, Someone we know has an AI marketing like big company. I don't want to name them because I'm not trying to call them out, but they have like a really big AI marketing company. And if you go to their website, they're like, pay us thousands of dollars to learn the latest in AI. Okay. It's November 21st today. It says current up to August 17th. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? You've missed a month to September, a month to, you've missed a quarter of the year. I'm like, why would I pay you for old news when the entire software has turned over in that quarter? So you're going to have no Sora app, no Gemini, no Nano Banana Pro. You're not going to know that Grok updated. You're not going to know that Claude updated. You're not going to know about Comet browser. You're not going to know about Atlas browser. You're not going to know about ChatGPT's group chat. I'm like, that solves all the problems someone might have, and you've got none of that. I was like, so caution to anyone who is canning and preserving their information and just putting it on the shelf and being like, this would be good next year. I'm like, goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, most of these companies are solving software problems you didn't know existed. But once group chat is there, I'm just like, I don't need this other thing.
Totally.
So it's a game. What's the kids' game? Musical chairs. It feels like a game of musical chairs.
Yeah, and pretty soon they're gonna get smaller, right?
Well, absolutely. It'll be Microsoft, Google,
Meta.
Meta, Apple, maybe. You know, Apple comes out with one thing. It's on 200 million iPhones, and everybody just goes, good enough.
Right. And on your list too, by the way, you didn't have Copilot there, right? And Copilot's coming up with, I mean, that's probably the biggest one because it's piggybacking on all the Windows licenses.
I did.
Oh, you do have it. Okay. Oh, okay. I missed
It's
it.
just there's just so much data. There's so much. Like we do the latest every week, but we could do this almost every day,
Yeah, I know.
right?
Okay, let's not do that just yet, but great episodes, brother. Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll continue. Everybody have a great week. Thursday's Thanksgiving. I'm down to US Thanksgiving. I'm down to do it then. Friday, what's good for you? What we could do
Well,
next.
in Canada, it's just going to be Thursday, you know. So
Okay, so next week